Should a woman live through pain for a partner or spouse to grow? Should a woman sacrifice her health and peace for a lover who does not reciprocate same over the years? At what point should a woman walk away from an abusive relationship? The topic is, when should a woman walk out from an abusive marriage? A super tough questions we need to tackle with tough gloves in hands. Oh yes, our goal is to create a safe space to discuss this issue and offer some help to those who need it. Join me to dig deeper and crack this super tough question with fellow phenomenal women in the house. Thank you. If you're enjoying us up until now, please don't forget to show love by subscribing, liking our videos, and also sharing it to loved ones. And please, we really want to see your comments down the comment section.
The way I've seen how God and the devil is about marriage, it is very, very important. How the Bible has told us that the seed of the woman will bruise the head of the dragon, and all of those things is still coming out from marriage.
Yeah.
So we see that the devil is fighting marriages because there is something there. I heard somewhere, I don't know how true it is, but somebody said it. He said one time, because I don't do all of this. He said one time a big minister of God, one of the top 5 ministers of God in the country, said he had administration and he left his wife at home. And before he left home, the wife was asking for permission and intimacy. But he said he's running late for that ministration. This man left his house, according to what I heard from his church member, left his house, drove to the place of ministration. As he was going to climb the altar, he said he had a voice, go back and attend to what you need to do before you come back. But because he could not go, and that place is their place of worship, he told the wife to come. There's a place where he can rest and all of that. So he took care of his wife. So in the process of going out, he said, okay, let other things be going on. Let them be doing ministrations. Let the other person who was supposed to speak go ahead and be speaking that. He just shifted his time.
Yeah,
rearranged the service, and then he went and came back, and he said it was there that this is the first thing I called you.
That is it.
But a whole lot of people have carried this and a man of God thing in a way that the calling has now taken control over every other
important thing,
especially their wives and their children, because they feel those are things that can wait. But they can actually
can wait for life, forever.
They cannot wait. Imagine a pastor's wife who is lacking intimacy, who is lacking someone to talk to. A time will come, they'll begin to get pushed. Like I always say, we have blood running in our vessels, in our bodies. A time will come, there are some of these things that they will take their time, they will take what they want. You will now live. Imagine a man of God who has left his wife a year without touching her. Will you tell me that if she sees somebody that is outside, will her body not demand?
Within.
No, I mean outside. I mean outside her marriage, her body will demand, because this is body. It is even God that still created this body.
No. You know the myth that is there is this: any woman like that is feeling like that. When the husband is not around, even the husband is around but busy for God, is not a good woman for a pastor.
They
want beautiful women, but they should die everything.
That means you have created another species of women that has no feeling, women that is robotic, women that, and that's when they are not able to give. There's something I've realized in my marriage. That sometimes when we lack intimacy, in my own marriage, I don't know how it is in other people's marriage. In my marriage, when we lack intimacy, we begin to have issues.
Aggression comes in.
I begin to get angry unnecessarily.
That is it.
I begin to get aggressive and peevish. As a whole lot of things going on. So sometimes I sit down and look at it and say, these women that because you are working for God, you are not doing this thing to your wives. Because body will demand it. Just like doctors have said, if you refuse to sleep, a time will come, your body will take sleep on its own.
Yes, and it will be in
if you are not satisfying this feeling, this urge, it will come and take itself. where will you be at the time when the body is demanding for it? So sometimes they have opened these women up, and then that's where emotional abuse comes in. You are not giving the woman what she wants. You want her to cook. Imagine me that big peevish because I'm not getting what and you tell me to go and give you food, and I do somehow and you say, hey, is it not your mate that this? I'll begin to think things I'm not supposed to think.
And funny enough, it's not only the women that these things affect. The first people that get affected is even these men. That's why you see them, go out to another woman.
Because when they spend too much time with other people's women, counseling women. This young pastor came to my church to minister one time, and he was saying that imagine women come to him and they are talking to him about their body parts. Like this thing, they say this thing happened to like. Imagine if his wife is not giving him attention, if he's not giving his wife attention, if he's not satisfying his manly needs and all of that, and then women are coming up to all of seeking for prayers and seeking for counseling, opening their bodies and all. He's going to fall.
That's just it. So then, you know one thing, when they fall, they still blame it on the woman.
The wife.
You didn't pray enough for the husband. You did not do this enough for this. God, I hope our men of God will be listening to this. And if a young man or who is planning to get into a ministry, please understand this. You will need to be able to balance your calling, because your first calling is actually the marriage. And the man, not the woman, will leave mother and father or father and mother. That signifies that, because at a point when you are a boy, your father, mother will be the most important people in your life. Now it says you are living there. Sometimes it's not just the literal father and literal mother. It's actually that there's a point you must leave the most important thing in your life and live to your wife, not to your woman, to your wife that you married. And look at Malachi. Malachi says that the wife of your youth, because of that, God said he will send a curse unto that woman and unto that man. And First Peter also said that if you make your wife unhappy, that your answers may not be, your prayers may not be answered. So God has made this situation very, very important and key to everyone. But you see our traditional mindsets. That is it. This traditional principle, you are a man, if you work with your wife so much or travel with your wife frequently, they say you are not a man, you are a woman rapper. So we have allowed traditions to come into our marital calling, and God is not happy. And this is why you see most pastors who are getting agitated. Many have walked away. Many have walked out of their marriages emotionally, and many have done that physically, but they call it separation, because God hates divorce. They are not together, but they will not go for divorce. For me, I don't understand. See, you are not together, separation for 2, 3 years, 5 years. Why not? I don't understand. So you are trying to play the game with God. Why don't you come together? For me, I think it's the men that we really need to talk to, because we women, we are so much soft, where you would tune us to, we can easily.
And we are like a bakery.
That is
it. What is being prepared and put into us that we put out.
Yeah.
If you put in attention, if you put in love and care, you get them back. But you can keep, it might take a long time. If you keep putting in abuse, you are not attentive, you are not doing this, you are not caring enough, a time is going to come, you are going to see the end result. And most times it's so annoying that it is the end results, the reaction of the woman, that people see and begin to talk about.
Yeah.
They have not seen the things that the men have been doing, the actions, everything. And
let me tell you a case,
silently.
A case study.
But it's when the woman have reacted. That's all. A certain woman of God did this. A certain woman of God
by
did
women,
that.
by our own.
Of course, women are always pulling down women.
Now let me give you a case study. I walked into a church, and then I had not even been married, and I saw they were to call the Ijo, that guy, the head of women, the women fellowship, but the head of the women fellowship was not even the pastor's wife. So for several months I was meaning I was taking that woman to be the wife of that pastor. Because for me, who else should be the head of the women's fellowship in the church? It wasn't the pastor's wife. So the day I got to know the pastor's wife, I was like, wow. This marriage, let's be careful about it. And then sometimes they want to do certain things. Okay, for the women that will take care of the children, another set of women, another set of women. So one day, and I said, what exactly does this pastor's wife do? So over time, I see that it's only that Sunday service she will come to, and most times she will come late. Then I didn't get close to the family. So one day we were to do something in the church, and in our department I was nominated to see the pastor and ask the pastor about how. So when I got to the house, I asked the woman. She received me very well. The children were there. I said, what about daddy? You know, and she was like that. In fact, she was so blunt. I think she had gotten it to hear that she couldn't pretend anymore. She told me she didn't know daddy went out since 3 days now. He went to go and pray at first. I was like, okay. But that when will he come back? She said she did not know. Then she called one of the children. Your father, when is he coming back? The child said, I don't know. And all the children, about 3 or 4 that I met, they didn't know when daddy would come back. They didn't know where daddy went to. And it was so obvious that wasn't the first time. And so they asked me to come back again weekend. I went weekend again. Daddy had not come back. Daddy had not told them where he had gone to. The wife does not know when and where he went to. That. And then suddenly he came back. And when he came back, he called me, so I went. And he was like, oh, Daddy went to pray for the next conference coming on, and this and that. And I looked at this man of God. Me, I knew that marriage was soon, because for the wife to open up like that to me, a new member in the church, some people may just begin to look down on the woman. But I knew the marriage might not last if that man does not do anything to change it. And I didn't know how to tell him. I was young, I was not yet married, so how will I sit my father in the Lord to begin to say, but truly, I'm serious. As that not only that the marriage is no more, the woman died. And died heartbroken. You understand? So this and funny enough, the man has been married with children.
Of course.
So you can see my heart ache when I'm talking about pastor's wife. At what point should a pastor's wife walk away? Now let's trash this question and then get the head.
So personally, like I said earlier on, I think a woman should walk away, even if it's a pastor's wife.
Okay.
When you have sat down, you have talked with your God and your inner man, and you know you have done all, and that if you do not walk away, this thing can lead to something you do not want to happen. Just like the case of this person you just talked about now. That's an end result for somebody. It could be the same thing for other people. It could even lead some to mental illness.
Yeah, many of them.
So if you have done everything within you have done everything you are supposed to do, you have seek advice, because of course you must have talked to 1 or 2 persons, you have done counseling, it is not changing, you can no longer take it is no longer looking like something your body can take or something your mind can take a separation. To go, and it might just be for a month, 2 months, a year, depending on how long you want to take. Work on yourself, give the person room to work on themselves. And then if after you have still done that and still done all your done and all your dream, it's better having done all, it's better to walk away alive. Regardless of whatever, regardless of what people will say, regardless of what could be, might have been, might be, regardless of anything, because it is he who is alive, or in this case it is she who is alive, that can enjoy ministry, that can enjoy the fruit of her labour,
and fulfill purpose,
and that
just
can
like Dennis
fulfill
said.
purpose. If you are not alive, you cannot fulfill purpose. And if you stay in an abusive marriage because God hates divorce, we know, or because I want to stay with my children. One thing I have learned in this my short years in marriage as being a parent is that if anything happen to you today as a man,
Everything moves on.
life will go on.
Everything
The other night
moves
travel,
on.
I left my small baby at home, and I called. I have not even gotten to where I'm going. I called, how far are you missing mommy? No, I'm watching cartoon. And it hits me. God forbid if anything happens to me, life will go on. These children will move on. The husband, just like you said, the husband will marry. I know somebody, she died not up to 6 months. Somebody came to that house and she built that house. Somebody came to that house heavily pregnant. But she's dead out of depression. So if you have done all while you are still alive and nothing is changing, nothing is moving, I think the best thing is to walk away. My opinion, my thoughts, this is on me. I think after you have done all, it's better to walk away.
Like the case of Osinachi, at what point do you think that she would have walked out of that abusive marriage?
In fact, you see her own case. Her own case is the case of a woman who already had discovered purpose. She already knows what her purpose is, and I feel like in her case, her purpose was already being threatened. Her purpose is being questioned, and that makes me say again that why would a man lift his hand to beat the woman, if not that probably he's a coward, he's feeling inferior,
Mentally deranged.
he's mentally deranged, he's like, why would the woman be all over the world and he is not, that.
But it takes the money. And then for me, please, allegedly, that is the day I would have walked away.
My goodness. Honestly, for her, she already had her purpose, and I know that God was willing to use her to do more. God was willing
Now,
to use
what
her
happens
to
to
do.
the children?
If she had given herself some break, let's say some break,
Yeah.
at least to some extent, she would have confided. I don't know whether she confided in the pastors or so, but then I know that somehow she would have just taken some break, whether left with the children or maybe leave the children there in the first place.
No. That's always the challenge. Most women will not want to leave the children, and they do not have the support system that will help them take the children with them. Yeah. Because most times the husband will be like, they know it's just the woman is leaving. There's a point where the woman lives only for the children. The husband knows that he doesn't have any meaning.
And they use that as leverage.
So they use that as the yardstick to make the woman stay in that abusive marriage. And so my take is to every woman, you see, try to, because a woman called me from Abuja some time ago and she talked to me about her case. Now the case of the woman is this: the man also used the children to make her stay, to make her endure the torture, and the man himself was a barrister. You understand, already knows the law, and so the man will do some things and put checks in place so that even if the woman goes to the court, the woman will not have evidence. So he already knows. He will seal off and clear off all evidences, will not allow the woman to have the phone, will not allow, you understand? So at the end of the day, the woman was just like that. In fact, the phone she used to call me was a neighbor's own, and told me that, so she was the only one that could call me. We spoke a couple of times, And she kept telling me that where will she go to, and she can't live without those children. And I said, but you will still need to, because there's even no way she will carry the children. Gate man against her, everybody cook, everybody in the house. The man had given the instruction that no, the woman must not leave the house and must not live with the children. So at the end of the day, the woman is stuck. So I told herself, first, try to get a support system. You don't just leave. And this man has threatened to kill her anywhere she will go to. You understand? Yes. And that's another point. When it gets to death threats, please walk away. When you know that one day this man can actually hurt you to death, walk away. If he doesn't want you to take the children, why don't you walk away first and then go build up a support system and come back for your children? And most things also, most times our women do not know what our law talks about.
We don't know our rights.
We don't know our rights. We don't want to know. We do not know what laws will favor us.
Let me come in there. I think it's not just that we don't know our rights. We live in an African settings that believe that, let me say this in Yoruba. I'll try to explain. There's a Yoruba saying that like, we don't come back from the place of court,
from the court
and still become friends.
Yeah.
So that has hindered a whole lot of
so you
things.
mustn't
Like,
go at all.
not that you mustn't go. People, you still want to give room.
Okay,
So there's this thing that
settlement.
I still want to give room for. Okay, even if I train these children alone and the father is still alive, on the day of their wedding, you still want somebody that will come and sit down. You still want that man.
What?
No, as in most people still want, their husband to sit in the place of the father. And then there's this, it took me to court. So women are always like, okay, let me just share this very private thing. My mom was supposed to have left her home way before she did. But she kept waiting that, this is my first daughter, she must get married.
So
do you understand? Like, I will take whatever it is that is going on until my first daughter leave the house. And this woman was going through a whole lot, but she did not leave. The month I got married,
wow, that would be a surprise to him.
God forbid, in that process of waiting for me to get married, what if something had happened? But and it's the same way it is with other people. They want to don't let me take this case to a point that we will not be able to come and sit down together, because we have children, and you know, children's matter have come into something. There's decisions that you cannot take alone as the wife. You want to consult the man, or the children want to speak with their father, have relationship with their father. So you are trying to give room. It's been sensitive.
Well, no. So you see, what they don't know is that the law makes provision for such. They make provisions for who will the children stay with. If the children are going to be with the mother, they mandate the man to tell them when he will be going to see the children anywhere. So all of these are taken care of. If the children are going to be with the husband, and they make the husband ensure that he will allow this woman to see the children. Even on the day of marriage, there are provisions for these things. So we should, that's why I said, you see, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And if you know you are going through an abusive relationship or marriage, please look at it first. Get an expert, get counseling, understand your advantage, understand the vintage points you want to stand on, and understand where to, take up the case on. Most these days, women who know their rights, they rarely lose in the courts. So please don't die in the place of endurance. It's okay for some people, but some people die before that day that they have put for themselves to live. And we are not advocating leaving your marriage. We are only making this discussion because we know that some people, like the case of that woman from Abuja, she just didn't know how else to do anything. Yes, I didn't advise her to leave, but then we were able to, talk, and she became aware of some things that she ought to do, and then we move on. I told her you even have an advantage. Your husband is a barrister. There's a way you take up the case. That's just it. But she anyway, it's a discussion for another day. Please let's have our final take home. What are you advising women, especially pastors' wives, that are within abusive marriages? You see?
Dear pastor's wife, like I have said earlier, after you have done all, and the heaven have recorded you have done all, and the abuse still persists, kindly dust your slippers. Forget what members will say. Same members that will abuse you today for leaving are the same ones that will abuse you if you remain in that home and then anything happens to you. But before you leave, make sure that your conscience, your God, and you are in one accord, believing and knowing that you have done your whole. Thank you.
Pastor's wife, I would like you to know that God desires you so much. He has your best interest at heart. You know, when Jesus saw the woman by the well and said to her, would you give me out of the waters from the well? You know, Jesus' interest was in the woman. Is that the woman would realize that if she can realize that the person standing before her can give her rivers of water that she will no longer taste, she would cleave unto him. You know, Jesus had to let her know. When he asked her, go call your husband, she said he does not have a husband. Jesus said, you're actually right when you say you don't have a husband. You have actually had 5 or so. And so when you say you don't have one, you're right. Was she condemned by her maker?
No.
She wasn't. Jesus didn't condemn her. Jesus didn't blame her for having had 5 husbands. Jesus didn't say, why did you not die in that place without one husband? Why would you have to go to have 5? I am not advising that you go have 5 husbands. I am just saying that at the point when you feel like, when you see that it has gotten, it's getting into your head mentally, don't wait till you die. Already, your brain, your emotions, everything around you would have been showing the signs. But you feel, okay, you can still manage. It's at the point of managing, anything can happen at that point. At the point when your mental health can no longer take it, please excuse yourself. Please excuse yourself. Go find yourself back. Get your feet back. Pray if you have to, fast if you have to. Engage God. He's willing to come into it. A lot of us will feel like, being a pastor's wife, like one of the informations I got, that a lot of the congregations, they want the pastor's wife to always be perfect. They don't want to see you have a sad face or something. They want to see you come out with your head gear all looking down. So by the time you come out, they'll be like, oh, mommy is here, mommy Gio, mommy Gio. Meanwhile, there's something burning inside of you. So that you don't go and give a what's it called now, a member a hot slap because of the aggression, passing the aggression of what you are passing through at home. It is better you step aside when it's about to, when you know that it's getting to you mentally. Please step aside, seek counsel. God is helping us. God bless you.
Thank you so very much. This is a topic that cannot be, treated in one setting. So expect much of this from us. And of course, my last take is understand that you have self-value. And because you have self-value, you must nurture yourself. It is called self-care. Nurture yourself. You have a value. If your purpose is not being fulfilled within that place as a pastor's wife or even as a married woman, remember that purpose is what God will ask you for. Purpose is not only meant for a small marital community. Purpose is the kind of assignment that will impact on a lot of people, not just your congregation. Understand that you must lose, if you must lose or you must not lose your self-value and your purpose. Arise and make sure that you fulfill purpose on earth. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. May the Lord help you. And we have seen instances where pastors' wives have also gone ahead and build up their own ministry and use what they have gone through to bless others. And that is the aim of this particular podcast. Please, this is to help you to understand that you're not alone, and that whatever you're going through, others also are going through it, and others understand that you are human. So sometimes also call the people in the church. Tell them, my husband has done this. Let them talk to your husband. And if he's the kind of man that will not listen to any other person, the ball is in your court. Respect yourself. Honor your self-value. First of all, do not let any man devalue you, for that is worse than death. The Lord bless you in Jesus' name.
Amen.